Greetings, comic fans. Lieutenant Fish back with another review. So, this is something I need to try and get more comfortable with, the freeform review style. Diversity Comics, Captain Cummings, those guys are Nerkish, really good inspirations, and I'm having fun with this concept. I just need to start doing it more frequently. Maybe use this format with some of the movies as well. You guys let me know what you think. So, when this is a real response video in part to the solo miniseries or solo first issue review that Diversity in Comics did a few weeks ago. It was really interesting because when he mentioned the solo and a mercenary who teleported and that sort of thing, I was like, that kind of rings a bell. And so I started digging through a couple of my long boxes. Don't have a ton of Spider-Man, but I have a big run between 365 and 375 and a handful of others from around the same period in the early 90s. And just by chance, that includes a couple issues with Solo, as well as another issue from the actual Spider-Man comic book around the same period or a little before that, also featuring Solo, which is kind of weird considering what a throwaway character he is for the most part. So when you're talking about him, again, you're talking about a masked mercenary who has a teleportation ability, uses submachine guns and melee weapons, who came out 6 years before Deadpool. That's kind of interesting in that sense. But he's not quite as funny as far as a character, and he's missing some of the other unique traits, but, what goes around comes around, I guess. So, first off, this is Amazing Spider-Man number 367. This is the second part of a little two-part thing featuring Solo. It has him on the cover in this case, but I didn't want to give away too many of the other versions, too many of the spoilers from the cover of the other one. But this is a nice little Mark Bagley cover. It doesn't actually have art by Mark Bagley. He's taking the issue off for something else. I don't remember what. But so one of the key things you'll notice from this when you get inside is that actually some of the color schemes are a little bit different, which is something that happens every now and then between some of the different artists and styles. But on the whole, though, it's pretty solid as far as the poses and everything else. I mean, frankly, some of these color combos are pretty ridiculous, but on the whole, it's good poses, good physique, good angles, some slightly futuristic weapons maybe, but, a lot more dynamic than what you see on average right now. This was right after 365, which was the 30th anniversary special, so we're talking 1992, I think. We're just going to hit some of the high points here, specifically for the Solo portion, just to show what kind of a character he is, portrayed as here back in the day. You got Taskmaster in here. So, your evil Captain America, Hawkeye, and Spider-Man clones, so to speak. And Solo's ready to just open fire right off the bat. Not afraid to shed a little blood. He's really kind of a Punisher clone, but, it's... Spider-Man, as always, has his no-killing thing, much like Superman or Batman. You're joking, right? Okay, I'll try, but if... Oops. Got to, try and pull out the melee, pull out the nunchucks, see what you can do with that. But obviously his teleportation capability is good enough to get the jump on people if he needs to, even if he's not shooting them. Operating in non-lethal mode, so to speak. And Blood Spider looks a little like Spider-Man 2099, but I don't think you ever get any more details on these guys. I think they're just a one story thing. And they could have come back later in the mid-90s with Taskmaster again, but I have no background myself. So, actually, I'll be honest. Solo, I think he had a slightly better coverage in 366 before this, where they stopped a raid on a assassination attempt or kidnap attempt on a Japanese politician in New York City, outside the UN. But he gets around. He's very competent in his role as anti-terrorist hired gun trying to take out the Red Skull in this storyline and figure out what's going on here after the Red Skull supposedly is back from the dead. But he's really just a filler character. He's not really all-in Punisher. He's not Deadpool levels of you couldn't build a solo story on him, but he does the trick as far as a decent guy to help advance some of the plot, or lead Spider-Man in the right direction, trying to figure out a mystery. Of course, Red Skull is back. He wasn't actually dead, but and of course, I forgot to mention at the very beginning. The art for this book, this is David Michelini. Jerry Bingham is the guest penciler. This is back in the middle of you have an actual real run by someone. Tom DeFalco, editor-in-chief. He really had things going on well here. Mary Jane, the wife, doting, helping him out. Thought I'd spend my unplanned day off playing wife instead. What next? Fetching my pipe and slippers? That's what a collie does. Now stop being silly. You need to talk. I'm here to listen. So, that's a real woman there. And the backstory here about Peter Parker's parents back from the dead, that's one of the big surprises from issue 365. I don't think I'm giving any spoilers away for a 20-year-old book now, but it's definitely a big-ish aspect of the story. And I guess I was wrong. It's this issue. It's actually 367 when Spider-Man's going to meet up with Solo. But first off, he has to get the lead from Betty Brant. Excuse me, not Betty Brant. Joy. Man, I am not up on my Spider-Man mythology at this point. It's been way too many years. I have to reread all these things, get caught up again, just for get caught up on the 25-year-old storylines. But, he's a photographer. He's a professional newsman. He has to take the photos, get the bucks. So, he's meeting Solo up again to protect this Japanese diplomat. Beforehand, obviously, he's got to rig the camera, make sure he can get some good shots. Yeah, this is classy. Bet that guy saves a fortune on subway tokens. So here we have Solo teleporting in again. While I'm called Solo, and while I live, Terror and Spider-Man's got to break in. Gets wounded. How about Terror gets wounded? Let go of me. So obviously, I mean, we're not talking about incredibly high detail or, amazing color. But again, you're talking, this is also supposed to be 8 p.m. at night. So a lot of this would have been, lit by street lights or overhead halogens or something else. So that, it's not completely unrealistic as far as whether you're saying it's a money-saving thing or anything else. But at the same time, the physiques are all really natural, really solid. No ridiculous faces, no overblown bodies or under, expressive. These are, realistic muscles for normal man, mercenary, whatever you want to call it. Red Skull pulled a triple cross. That first wave has to set us up, and Ultimatum was supposed to keep us busy, while these fake cops assassinated Kuroto. So you got a lot of these different organization names being thrown around. But I'm not good with that mythology. Sorry guys, remember the saying about best laid plans? Just call me Mr. Party Pooper. You lose, web slinger. On the contrary, you lose. Croc. Someone should tell him about rubber bullets. I mean, I know those men were going to kill Kuroda, but no one gave Solo the authority to kill them. It's up to me to see they get there. Or excuse me, they have to be brought to trial. It's up to me to see that they get there. Sure, a crate on the head helps out as well. The Spider-Man figured out that Solo's teleport is on a timer or limit. It's not something he can use in and out whenever he feels like it. He's, picks up on these things. It's a small world, Spider-Man. We'll meet again. You bet your Full Metal Jacket on that, mister. So, just as Spider-Man's about to get some more details on his so-called parents back from the dead, who he's still not sure who he believes about that, computer's shot. Computer's fried. He knows there's something going on. He knows it's associated with Red Skull, just like they went down with Red Skull's plane originally, but he has no other information. And then we'll have a lead-in here. Lead into the next little 6-issue miniseries. Invasion of the Spider Slayers, which is the whole reason I actually started reading Spider-Man books to begin with. I had the Game Boy game of Spider-Man 3 back in 1992 or so, and it referenced it. I mean, this is before the internet, so you couldn't look up hints or tricks or tips online or anything, so I thought maybe picking up these comics would give me some information. So went for issues 368 through 373, the 6-issue miniseries. Didn't get a whole lot of information, but turned me on to some of the other books and found 375, which is a big special edition. I might take some photos of that one in the future. And then went back to 365. And then 366, 67, everything else in between. There's some really great stories. And just, now that I'm starting to pick up more back issues, I might try picking up a few more like this. But that's just a quick recap. I just want to show Solo wasn't always a clown. He was actually pretty solid back in the day. So that's it for now. If you like this kind of quick video from me, just let me know in the comments. Appreciate the support, feedback, everything else. Like the channel, subscribe, etc. Lieutenant Fish, out.